couple interesting topics in the NBA. So LeBron, the Lakers star, tweeted an apology yesterday and basically tweeted an apology to Lakers fans for the poor play executed by the Lakers. And this obviously comes on the heels of their embarrassing and humiliating road loss to the Denver Nuggets, where they lost by 37 points, 133 to 96. LeBron tweeted hashtag Laker Nation. I apologize, and I promise we'll be better. Let me first say that this is one of the reasons why people love and admire and really respect LeBron James as a leader of a franchise, is because of the accountability of his own play, absolving the accountability of his teammates, shouldering all the blame anytime either he plays poorly, the team plays poorly, his players play poorly, whether it's his fault or not. That's one of the reasons why players respect LeBron, why most of his former teammates absolutely adore him and laud him. But the thing about this instance is there's no question that the Lakers, yes, they should be issuing an apology to Lakers fans. They've played extremely poorly for over half the season, and that's reflected in their record, 21-22. But the person who should be issuing that apology should not be LeBron James. As much as he is a great ambassador of the game of basketball, as much as he is the ideal leader of a franchise, leader of the Lakers, and the face of that franchise, it is not his responsibility in this instance to be issuing an apology on behalf of their entire season. If he wants to say after that poor performance against the Nuggets that he wants to assume responsibility for their lack of effort, fine. Although a poor outing for LeBron against the Nuggets resulted in 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 31 points. But if he wants to take responsibility for that individual loss, okay. Although to be fair, most teams always come out lethargic against the Denver Nuggets in the Mile High City. Because of the change in altitude, they have less stamina than they otherwise would in a lower altitude climate. So that's first of all. But the thing is, his play has been outstanding this year. It's been outstanding this year, let alone the fact that it's his 19th season. He's averaging 29 points, second most in the NBA, the third highest of his career. The only time he scored higher than that was during his first stint with the Cleveland Cavaliers in his first go-round in the NBA, his first 7 years in the league, averaging 7.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, a steal and a half a game, over a block a game, 37 minutes in his 19th season, 52%. 52%, and he's shooting a respectable 76% from the free throw line. So he's doing his part. He is doing his part. 19 times has he scored over 30 points this year of 43 games. There was one time he had a streak of 7 30-plus point performances this very season. So the problem with him coming out and making this declaration now, it's not really a problem, but the issue that I have is the game on Saturday night was more of a one-off to me because it was due to a lack of effort. And I honestly don't think that the vast majority of the Lakers' losses this year have been as a result of a lack of effort. They've been simply because of poor execution down the stretch. Guys turning it over, missing shots. There have been a myriad of other kind of miscellaneous errors that have occurred down the stretch of games that have cost them games. But it wasn't always for a lack of effort. There have only been a few games this year where the Lakers truly were just outworked. We saw twice, bizarrely, against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They lost by 24 at home. They lost on the road to the T-Wolves. That's the game that AD went down. They lost to Boston on the road at TD Garden by 22 points. They lost to the Spurs like 138 to 110, some bizarre 28-point margin at home. Those are the only instances where they've truly been outplayed. So LeBron's been a revelation this year. He shouldn't have to assume any of this responsibility. If there was someone who should be issuing an apology to Lakers fans who do deserve an apology for the poor play, it's Frank Vogel and his coaching staff for clearly not eliciting the most and the best out of his players. It should be Russell Westbrook for still not taking responsibility and holding himself accountable for the frequent turnovers that he commits every single game. It should be Anthony Davis for his inability to be available, for his unavailability. Those are the people that should be issuing an apology if someone is going to do that. Magic Johnson ripped them for their effort against the Nuggets. And I don't have a problem with that. And I don't have a problem for LeBron wanting to take responsibility for the game against the Denver Nuggets, but for him to be the one to tweet out the apology, that's not his responsibility. He's done his job and then some. That responsibility should fall on Frank Vogel and the coaching staff, on Westbrook, on AD. Those are the people that should be issuing an apology. I'm not going to get mad at Talen Horton-Tucker for averaging 10 points a game, even though I think he should be averaging more because he's shooting poorly. I'm not going to get mad at Austin Reeves for occasionally getting cold when he's been perhaps the second most consistent player. I'm not going to be upset with Carmelo Anthony at age 37 for dropping buckets in about half the games he plays. I'm not going to put that onus on them. So, I appreciate the fact that, and this is one of the reasons why LeBron is who he is because he's carried the mantle not only as an elite player, but also as a leader of a team when it comes to the responsibility. But again, I just don't think that in this instance, it's necessarily required for him to do that. And I think there's no question that so far, trading for Westbrook has been a mistake more so than a success. Still holding out hope something can change, but that's what's happened at this point.